and welcome to Tinker Tuesday. Today's Tinker Tuesday is going to be a really nice quick one, and it's going to be quite a nice little mixed media project. Today we are going to be making, this is just the basis, but we are going to be making these hat earrings. So they're like little hats, but they are earrings. And the potential for these is absolutely amazing, which we will discuss, but I'm going to show you how to create these, and then I can't wait to see how you will then adapt these for your crafting. So if you want to see how to create these, then please keep watching. Okay, so what we are going to be creating today is this cute little hat, either pendant or earrings as we're going to make, or just a nice little charm. You can actually cover it in the Mod Podge that we used for the jewelry box, the book jewelry box, so make it a little bit more hard wearing. But this is potentially what we are going to make. It's going to be it's going to be a nice quick make today. So let's get started. So what are we going to need to create these hats? Well, I've got some quite thick card. I'd probably say it's probably about 150 to 200 GSM. I'm not 100% sure, but it's not too thick, but it's a nice thick card. So it's just one A4 sheet is going to make up two sets, or two hats. So basically a pair of earrings. You will need some scissors. For the wire work, you're going to require your cutters, pliers, and your round nose pliers. For the circles, I'm using these punches that are readily available from places like The Range or Hobbycraft. I got this larger one here, which measures, that measures 5 centimeters. So that's a 5 centimeter circle, and then this one is an inch circle. So they're the two different sizes that we're going to be using today, and I'm going to be using some tacky glue and also some 0.6 wire, jump rings, and earring findings. So now we've got all of that kind of out of the way, let's get going. So I am going to first begin by cutting out four of these larger circles out of our card. Now obviously you don't want the card too thick, because if you're cutting with a punch, then it's going to be a little bit difficult. You don't want to break your punch. If you've got a die cutting machine and you've got nested dies, then obviously the thickness of card will still matter a little bit, but not that much. And or if you're hand cutting, that's fine as well. You can hand cut. You can kind of use a decorative edge around the edge of your hat if you wish. So we've got four of the larger circles, so we'll just move them to one side, and then on here I'm going to go ahead and cut out, let's see how many I've got here. I think it's 19, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 18, 19. So there's 19 there for that one. So I'll cut these out, and then we can get going with the assemblage. So again, this is just a punch that I've got from, I think I got this one from The Range. And I've just taken the back off because it's just a little bit easier for some of the things that I do to be able to see it in that way. So I'm just going to cut my circles, as you can see here, and what I'll do is I'll probably speed up this process, and then you'll be able to see the finished article. Oops, once we're done. That one got away. Okay, so we've cut out our our circles. Just move my punches out of the way. And now what we're going to do is we are going to piece them together. And as I say, all I'm using here is Anita's tacky glue. If you want to use the Mod Podge to glue it and seal it, then it's down to personal preference. But I'm just literally popping my glue all the way onto the circle, lining up the two circles, and then what I like to do is just to move it about a little bit until they kind of get adhered to one another. Just go around and give that a nice little burnish. Take our next two. That's it. And then just go around in a little circle, making sure that we've got plenty of glue on there. Grab our next circle, move it about a bit until you get to the center. The reason I do that is because to me, I think it just distributes the glue better. So if you wanted to, you could do different colored cards to make it a little bit more interesting. If you wanted to create more layers in the actual hat. So this is just going to be the brim of the hat. You could emboss it, emboss your last piece that's going to form the outer side of the brim if you wanted to, if you've got an embossing machine. So if I just show you here, we've got quite a good thickness of card now. So even though we started off with quite a thick card, that is just a nice kind of thickness. And you could do this with fabric as well. If you wanted to do it with felt, you could do it with felt as well. So now we're just going to do the exact same thing with our smaller circles. So it's just a case of assembling them together. If you do have a die cutting machine and you have got, I mean, I've made earrings like this with cogs and things like that, so you can create paper style earrings if you like. Obviously, if you're wearing these, you don't want them to be in the rain because they are a paper or card, and you don't want it to kind of spoil in the rain, which is why I would probably coat them with the Mod Podge afterwards. So I'm just going to keep on gluing and just creating our layers. And again, it just makes it a little bit stronger as well because it's the card. Obviously, if you're using a decorative paper, depending on the GSM, obviously depends on how many circles you need to cut out to create your hat shape. And as I say, if you wanted to, you could use different pattern papers, but obviously you just kind of want to use those on the outer edge because otherwise you're not really going to see them. But the card, otherwise, if you're using different coloured card, you could create like a rainbow effect if you wanted to do something like that. So you could do a rainbow effect with your card, or as I say, if you wanted to add texture, you would just, for your last piece before you glued it on, you would run that through an embossing machine or something like that. Now if you wanted to as well, you could use aluminium tape, as I have done in the past with cards and things like that. You can emboss it and then you can pop it onto your section here. You could use this as a template and cover it with polymer clay if you wanted to. Also, you could quill on top of here if you enjoy quilling. So that's always a good way to start. If you like your jelly printing as well, we did, I don't know if you remember, way back at the beginning of Tinker Tuesday, I think it was one of our first classes or Tinkers together, we did the jelly plate printing. If you wanted to do that, you could then incorporate your jelly plate prints into that. Obviously, again, you would just use the print on your top layer of your hat, but that would be amazing because each one would be different and it's just going to create a really nice effect. If you enjoy making paper flowers as well, which we'll get onto into the next section, it's a nice way of incorporating your paper flower work into this as well. If you wanted to do this on a slightly bigger scale, you could do it, use plates. So if you wanted to draw around dinner plates and create a wall hanging, so a bit like you used to get back in the I think it was 1980s, because I know that cottagecore is a big thing that's coming back at the moment. So for example, things like your Laura Ashley decor and things like that is really, really kind of coming back, a bit like your shabby chic style in interiors, and actually on the high street as well. So there you go. If I just show you there, we're just building up this really nice thickness. If you wanted to use a cork, let's say, if you've got if you've used a cork, you could cut a cork into that kind of shape as well, so you know, that size, and then use your cork tiles. I know that over on Babble Dabble they did some string art and used some cork tiles, and that would be a great way, because you could cut those out into a larger circle as well. So then you could even turn it into a little bit of a pin board if you wanted to. So this is just a little idea just to kind of take you through, and then obviously you can then run off and do what you wish. You could have these hanging from dream catchers, which I know Babble Dabble did the other week, and I think Gemma Crow did some on Jewelry Maker as well. So here we go, we're on our last one, and that just popped together really, really nicely. So as you can see here, we've got some nice thicknesses going on there. So I'd say that's probably about ½ an inch, about 1 centimetre thick. Yep, that's about 1 centimetre thick. And this one is probably about 5mm thick. So now what we are going to do is glue that section onto the center. So I'm just going to eyeball the center of this and move it around a bit until your glue goes tacky. And there we go. Just until it goes tacky, and then it'll stay in the right place. And there you have the basis for your basic hat, pendant, or what have you. Like I say, you could do this with polymer clay, and you could just create some really nice little flowers and things to go around there. You could even turn it into a cocktail ring if you wanted to. So that is what we're working with just there. So I'm just going to let that set and dry for a second, and then we can come back and do the next step. Okay, so we are going to take some 0.6 wire. Again, the gauge is up to you, and this is just a silver one, obviously, because I've done silver on the other one. I'm going to take about 40 centimetres. Well, actually, we'll do 42. So it's 42 centimetres. As I say, it's better to have too much than not enough. Then I'm going to take my round nose pliers, and I'm going to, well, I would eyeball the centre, but we'll just kind of bring our two ends together and pop in. And round nose pliers, and as you can see here, I've got it probably about ½ an inch down the actual plier. And then all I'm going to do is cross over our two wires to create a loop on the underside. Take my index finger and my thumb, and I'm going to twist those around several times just to connect to each other. And now we know that if I take that out, that's not going anywhere, and that's created a nice little bail for us. Not that we're going to use it, but if you were making buttons or something like that, then it's a great way of attaching your rows that we are going to make. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my right wire, bring that round and bring it underneath the left one. Take the left wire, bring that round and take that underneath the right wire. Bring the right around and go underneath the left, and bring that round underneath the right. And you're literally just going to carry on doing that until you've got a flower or a rose to the size that you wish for whatever project you're doing it for. You know, if you're doing a shabby chic junk journal, these would be perfect little attachments on your paper clips, or just as charms or something like that, or even just as earrings if you wanted to do it as an earring. Okay, so I'm going to bring that one round to there, and that's those. So now I've got my rows and I've just got my wires facing in the same direction. Now I'm just going to take my pliers and give that a good squeeze, like so. So now this is what we've kind of essentially got. We've got rid of the bail at the back as well, but as I say, if you wanted to, you could keep that the way it was. So now I'm going to keep my wires on the underside, and I'm going to grab my hat. I'm just going to hold my rows there, and I'm going to wrap around the wire, making sure that we're nice and tight, but not too, you don't want it too tight at the moment, because you don't want it to kind of go underneath your work that we've done there. So now I'm just incorporating that into our design. So now that's nicely attached, and then you can do whichever design you would like on the rest of the wire. So I'm just going to literally take this wire at the end of my pokey tool and spiral it around my pokey tool. You can push that down together if you want, and then that can sit just in there. You kind of want to make it similar to the other one. And then we can do the exact same thing with your other piece of wire there. I'm just going to bring that round a few times. There we go. And then we'll just get rid of these spiky bits. And that can go just inside of there. So now we've got two similar kind of earrings. What I'm going to do now is just go around with my pliers and just make sure that that wire sits at the brim of the hat. So we've now got that, oops, sitting at the brim of the hat. We've got our rows and our little decorative sections. You could put seed beads around here if you wanted to. In fact, you could even use this as a template and seed bead around the whole thing. So then you could have this as your inner core and then seed bead around the rest of it. And I think that would look really, really good. So now I'm just going to add in my hole at the top, making sure, so let's see, we've got one on one ear, one on the other ear, like so. So we'll have one rows down, one rows up. So I'm just going to move my paper, just don't want to put a hole in that. And just measure that to there. And I did it about 5 mil from the top there, and I'm just literally poking a hole through with my pokey tool. There we go. And then just going to get my jump ring, so I'll just bring the white back again. Got my jump ring. This is I think it's a centimetre jump ring. And I open this up now. Remember what I said last week, opening it up north to south, popping that through the hole, and then popping our shepherd hook on, closing that up together, and there we have got a pair of hat earrings. Now, as I say, you can take this as far, if you like, as you want. I'd love to see if you could do the seed bead version. I think that would be really cool, actually. You could even just leave this section plain, put some leather on there, and then seed bead around the top half of the actual hat section of the hat. But as you can see there, we've got a really cool mixed media earring there, and you could turn this into a brooch as well if you wanted to, and pendants again if you wanted to add the Mod Podge. If you've got scraps of these trimmings or anything like that, or if you've got gemstones left over, you could pop those around the edge. The options are absolutely endless. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you next week for another Tinker Tuesday. Thank you so much for watching. As I say, it was just a nice little quick make today because the weather's so nice, and I think, you know, it's just nice to make some things to wear and go out and be absolutely fabulous in. So thank you so much for watching and taking a little bit of time out of your day to come and join me today. And I will see you next week. You have a great day and you stay safe now. Bye.